This is Gayalal. He left the Congress, joined another party, and then again joined Congress in just 9 hours. In just 9 hours, Gayalal switched his party 3 times. Gayalal was not alone. In the 1970s, there were nearly 2,000 cases of MPs and MLAs switching parties. Because of this, governments fell across the country. This created political instability. To stop MLAs and MPs from switching parties, a law was brought in. But it made things worse.
Kumaraswamy government has fallen. He has lost the confidence vote.
The ongoing drama in Karnataka finally came to an end yesterday after that trust vote.
All the rebel Congress MLAs now meet with Goa Chief Minister.
All 6 MLAs of the Bahujan Samaj Party in Rajasthan have jumped ship to join the Congress.
Defection happens when MLAs or MPs switch political parties after getting elected. They usually defect for money or for a higher post like minister. Let's take an example. Let's assume you vote for BJP candidate Amit Shah. He becomes MP, but after getting elected, he joins the Congress. He may have joined the Congress for any reason. Seeing Amit Shah switch parties, other MPs from BJP start joining the Congress for their own reasons. Slowly, the numbers in the Lok Sabha start to change. This change in numbers can make governments fall, and this happened in 1979. 76 MPs from the government defected to the opposition, and the Morarji Desai government fell. When a government falls, taxpayer money is wasted in the name of conducting fresh elections. Defections also lead to political instability. Speaking of political instability, we can't forget the 1960s. Because of MLAs defecting like crazy, governments in these states fell. Defections was such a big problem that a committee was formed to solve this issue. The committee gave some recommendations. And guess what happened? Nothing. In the 1970s, Indira Gandhi introduced an anti-defection bill, but she got busy. She got busy jailing the opposition, committing human rights violations, and doing forced sterilization of thousands of people. So the bill remained a bill. After the emergency, the Morarji Desai government tries to bring in an anti-defection law, but it leads to nowhere. But guess where defections are happening? Everywhere. Indira Gandhi and the Congress engineered mass defections in various state governments, and governments in those states fell. Sorry, small correction. She dismissed these state governments. By now, defections had become an effective way of attaining power. So, if you wanted to be a chief minister, all you had to do was follow these steps. Make as many people defect from the ruling party and weaken the government, make the government fall because you have the numbers, and then form the government. Congrats, you're a chief minister now. To stop governments from falling, the Rajiv Gandhi government passed the anti-defection law in 1985. The anti-defection law disqualifies members who defect. Members who are disqualified lose their elected post. So according to the law, if an MP switches parties after getting elected, he loses his MP seat. The law disqualifies elected members who voluntarily give up membership of the party, vote against the party stance, do anti-party activities, and are absent on the day of voting. But if you have the permission of the High Command, you can take the day off and not lose your post. Independent members who join a party after getting elected can get disqualified because that's defection. Nominated members who join a political party after 6 months after he or she has been nominated can get disqualified because that's defection. Members are disqualified by the presiding officer, basically the speaker. Each house has its own presiding officer and their decision can be challenged in the courts. However, there are exceptions. The anti-defection law does not apply to the speaker and mergers. Merger happens when 2/3 members of a party join another party. Various mergers have happened in India. In Goa, 8 out of 11 Congress MLAs joined the BJP, and in Rajasthan, 6 BSP MLAs merged with the Congress. So these are not defections, they are mergers. On the face of it, the law seems okay, but it's not. It's made things worse. The law has some important problems. First off, the speaker. Before we continue, we should know how speakers become speakers. An elected member can become a speaker after he or she is elected by the majority. But guess who else has the majority? The ruling party. Voting in these elections happen along party lines. So the government votes for their guy and the opposition votes for their guy. Obviously, the government's guy wins and becomes speaker because the government has the numbers, they have the majority. So if you want to be a speaker, you need to be a member of the ruling party. In the anti-defection law, the speaker is the one who disqualifies people for defecting. He is meant to take decisions in a free, fair and independent manner. But he doesn't take free, fair or independent decisions because he's a member of the ruling party. So every decision taken by the speaker with respect to defections is politically motivated. In defections, two scenarios can take place. The first one being a member of the government defects to the opposition. In such a case, the speaker plays an active role in preventing this from happening because he's a member of the ruling party. If he allows members of the ruling party to switch to the opposition, his government can fall. So the speaker does everything within his power to prevent this from happening. In Karnataka, the speaker didn't even accept the resignations of members of the ruling party. In the second scenario, members of the opposition defect to the government. In such a case, the speaker does nothing. He does nothing because defections from the opposition strengthen the government. And guess who is a member of the government? The speaker. In Telangana, the speaker didn't take any action against members of the opposition for defecting to the ruling government. In Manipur, the speaker didn't take a decision of disqualifying an MLA for 3 years. Speakers can get away with this because of the second problem in the law. The anti-defection law doesn't provide a set time frame for the speaker to make a decision. So speakers can take their own sweet time in disqualifying members who actually defected. In Karnataka, 16 MLAs who were part of the government resigned from their posts. In the by-elections which happened, 12 of these MLAs won on a BJP ticket. Technically speaking, these MLAs didn't defect because they resigned. The anti-defection law punishes elected members who switch parties, but it doesn't punish members who resign from their posts and then join other parties. The law was brought in to prevent individual members from switching parties, but because of the merger exemption in the law, it allows wholesale defections to happen. The law only punishes individual members who switch parties, but does nothing to members who join other parties because of these mergers. The merger clause basically approves whatever happened in Goa and Rajasthan because hey, they didn't defect, they just merged. The anti-defection law has murdered intra-party democracy in the country. Let's go back to the provisions of the law. A member can get disqualified if he or she votes against the party stance. So if your party wants you to vote for something and you vote against it, you can lose your post. So you're no longer answerable to the people. You're answerable to the party high command. Even if you have a genuine problem with, let's say, a bill which your party wants to pass, you can't vote against it. In one case, an Aam Aadmi Party MLA had to vote against himself because of the anti-defection law. In December of 2015, Aam Aadmi Party had a dissenting MLA. His name was Pankaj Pushkar. Pankaj Pushkar had to vote for a resolution which was against him. If he didn't vote for the resolution, he would lose his post because of the anti-defection law. Because of this law, an MLA had to vote against himself. A law which was brought in to stop defections has now allowed party high command to crush members who speak against it. Now elected representatives have become agents of the party. If you speak against party high command, you can lose your post, all thanks to the anti-defection law. Now parliament has become a house of numbers instead of a house of people. Elected representatives no longer debate on the needs of the people they represent. Instead, they debate along the party lines. The anti-defection law was brought in to stop defections, but it has had no positive impact whatsoever. In fact, it's made things worse. The law has also impacted our democracy. It's made representative democracy feel almost pointless because the law supports the will of the party rather than the will of the people.